Here's the thing. I got a build for you today. It's working really well for me in World PvP, BGs, duels. Probably find me outside Duratar, hustling your favorite streamer for 10 gold in this build since they're giving Warrior any respect. All jokes aside, guys, I've been having an absolute blast this phase in PvP and wanted to share what I found with my fellow Warriors so you guys can have some fun with it as well. Well, what build are we going to talk about? We're going to be talking about Gladiator stance, specifically deep proc Gladiator stance, and why this is better than arms. There's one big thing that really made this build stand out this phase, and that thing's going to be Shield Slam. Now, Shield Slam now scales with block value 2 to 1 instead of 1 to 1, really making this build come online. Shield Slam along these 3 modifiers allow you to dish out a lot of damage. I'm not going to do the math on it, just take my word for it. The clips playing in the background are all from the weekend of damage aura testing or whatever Blizzard's calling it. However, there is one clip at the very end of this whole video where you'll be able to see what the damage looks like before the testing, since I think one of the biggest criticisms are that prot does no damage. Alright, let's get into the talents. So we want to go deep protection tree with this build. Like mentioned earlier, we want one-handed specialization for the extra 10% damage. We want Shield Slam since it scales more with block value. And this means one thing and one thing only. So sorry those that already have the Berserker 3-piece. However, we want the banished tier set for PvP. But you know what? Don't worry. We'll get to the Abyssals here in a second. Getting back to the talent tree here, going from the top, we're going to take 5 points in shield specialization, 2 points in improved blood rage, 5 points in Iron Will, bonus if you're an orc for the extra 25%. 1 point in Last Stand for some survivability. This is going to be a really powerful cooldown. We're going to take only 1 point in improved shield block. We don't care about the other 2 points to get up to 3 of 3. Reason is because we don't care about the duration of shield block. We only care about the amount of shield blocks you get. It's going to be really powerful against melee. We'll take 3 points in improved revenge for the 45% chance to stun a target for 3 seconds. From my understanding, this does not share DR with concussion blow, so this chain can be really powerful when you chain it together. We'll take improved Sunder armor. This is going to work really well with our belt rune that we're going to take later. We'll discuss that. 2 points in shield wall, great for 2v1s, 3v1s, so on and so forth. You'll take 1 point in concussion blow, 2 point in improved shield bash, really important for chaining CC against casters. 5 points in one-handed specialization, 1 point in shield slam is going to be your 2 damage dealers here. You're going to go to the Fury tree, take 5 points in cruelty. Okay, this is going to help with damage, gives you 5% more crit. Now there are other options that we can do with these points. However, when it just comes to standard all-around build that you can use against any class, this is where you'll go. And then in the arms tree, you'll take 5 points in deflection. Where you can vary here is you can take some points out of Cruelty and put them in Improved Thunderclap, making your Thunderclap only cost about 13 rage per cast. And I think everybody would be surprised on how much damage you actually do when you're spamming Thunderclap, hitting 200 damage with Thunderclap. For the runes itself, a lot of these runes are going to be locked in due to the damage and you wearing a shield. So when it comes to the head rune, we're going to be looking at Shield Mastery itself. Again, you're getting that 10% increased damage with shield equipped. You also get the benefit of disarm effects being 50% effective against you. So it's up to you if you want to use a weapon chain or not for your weapon. I opt to just enchant my weapon with Fiery Weapon for the extra damage. The chest rune is going to be either Flagellation or Warbringer. Now, Flagellation's great against classes you don't need to chase down. Think Rogue, think Priest, think, you know, another warrior, so on and so forth, right? You get that extra 25 bonus to physical damage is incredible. Warbringer is going to be a necessity against classes with high mobility. Think mages, think druids, think shamans. You're going to need this rune in order to catch them and to stay on top of them, because if we're getting kited around, we're just going to die. When you go to the wrist rune, Sword and Board is absolutely mandatory. We're going to be spamming a lot of Sunders or / Devastates to proc our Shield Slam proc, right? It's 30% chance. So because Shield Slam is our primary damage dealer here, we're going to need Sword and Board. It's absolutely mandatory. On the hands, we're going to take Devastate here. There's been talks of doing different runes here, but I find that Devastate is just going to be the best thing. Doing damage and reducing their armor, thus increasing your damage, is kind of a win-win-win here. On the waist rune, we're looking at Focused Rage. We want to reduce all of our abilities by 3 rage. This is going to really take our Devastate to the next level. So now Sunder is affected by 3 different things. Improved Sunder reduces the rage cost by 3. The Focus Rage reduces it by 3, and then the Hands rune's turning it into Devastate. So you have a really strong ability to push. That also is going to proc your Shield Slam. On the leg rune, we have 2 options here. We can go Consumed by Rage and Furious Thunder. Now, the biggest problem with Consumed by Rage, especially in the World PvP environment, as you see in the background here, I almost never get to 80 Rage. It's very difficult unless you get a lot of procs, or unless the fight is very long. Now, I guess I could just hold off on pushing execute since it's just a rage dump in world PvP. Oftentimes, though, it's good to secure the kill and then just kind of get a huge crit off and end the fight. Furious Thunder is pretty strong in world PvP from what I've found. It slows the attacker's ability to hit you quite a bit, as well as you'd be surprised on how hard it hits. I've seen Thunderclaps hit people for over 200 damage before the damage nerf. Now it's hitting people around 90 to 100. So it's definitely an underspoken rune. It could be pretty strong. And then finally, the rune that kind of makes everything happen here, Gladiator Stance, is so powerful this phase, in my opinion, with all these runes. Mainly due to the fact is there's no stance dancing. We don't have tactical mastery in the arms tree, so you're not going to want to ever change your stance. And now let's get into the itemization of the whole deal. So again, we are really focused on block value itself. With all the gear combined, our block value is going to be about 146. As you can see from the set that I built, we're at 146. However, with the banished set, when you're going against other melee, you're going to peak up to 196, which is going to be huge for Shield Slam, giving it an extra, 392 damage per Shield Slam. One of the great things about this gear set is the fact that it's not rank 7, right? There's no rank 7 gear here at all, not requiring you to do any kind of honor farm, any kind of Warsong Gulch farm, Battleground farm, whatever. A lot of the gear is going to come from the raid itself, meaning the bandage tier set's very, very important. That's going to have the most block value out of everything, the belt as well as the shield itself. And that should cover the basics of the tier set bonus and all the other gear that you need for this build itself. If you want to min-max a little bit more against certain matchups like a mage, you could take these boots, get a little bit more block value since you're never going to proc the tier set, since they'll never be attacked by melee. And if you're getting more serious about PvP, I can't stress enough how important professions are and the different utility items around the world. These items specifically are going to give you a ton of utility in your fights. They're going to help you root people, survivability, damage, healing, so on and so forth. So make sure that we collect these items. Many of them are very easy to obtain and very cheap to obtain, so there should be no reason why you don't obtain them. Anyways, that about wraps it up, guys. I'm going to throw a quick little priority list up on screen here on the different matchups between casters and melee. It's not comprehensive because every matchup is very different, and I'll just let you play the game. Anyways, I hope that helps everybody out here. I've been having a ton of fun in Gladiator Stance. I hope you give it a shot, give it a try, and ultimately, man, if you guys don't believe me, maybe somebody else will convince you otherwise.
Oh, I see the center. No, it's definitely open. I just didn't notice it, right? Oh, he has DCT. Oh my god, dude, this is the warrior spec.